Namaste. I am Ruben Vasquez with Simple Yoga, and this is a very useful sequence to help align your spine through very simple and easy movements. Please keep in mind the Simple Yoga principles: conscious and deliberate movement, explore your natural range of action, make your movements well distributed so it's not all hinging on one joint. Avoid strain, struggle, and self-judgment. Do only what is within your control and smile and enjoy the practice. This makes it more effective. We'll start on our hands and knees. Remember to grip the floor with your hands and to squeeze the mat in with the heels of your hands a little bit. Slight bend at the elbows, press down with your armpits, and then start tilting the tailbone and sit bones toward the knees to round the lower back. Bring the front ribs up toward the ceiling to round the mid-back. Widen the shoulder blades to round the upper back, chin toward the throat to round the back of the neck. Nothing forced, and then start unwinding from the lower spine, creating length at the front of the torso now and strengthening the back. And try that again. Tilting from the pelvis, moving from the base of your spine, trying to create an even roundedness, an even curve in your spine. Nothing is forced. Then start from the pelvis, start from the base of the spine to move the spine in the opposite direction. When you're moving in this direction, make sure that you're not pinching or squashing the lower, mid-back, or the back of the neck. Notice the sensations and notice how you are breathing. Make sure that you're not holding your breath. Make the movement smooth, continuous, enjoyable. Only do what you can. Remember that the hands are gripping the floor a little bit to stabilize the wrists and prevent any squashing at the wrist. Tilting from the pelvis, start at the arching of the spine. But make sure that nothing is too much. There's nothing that feels strained. And try again, tilting from the tailbone and the sit bones toward the knees, rounding the spine sequentially, evenly. Feeling, inviting a release of tension in the whole back. And then from the tailbone and the sit bones, start pressing the tailbone and sit bones back. Lengthen from the navel forward. Breastbone moving forward. Collarbones moving forward. Throat moves forward, chin away from the throat. And again, starting from the tailbone, rounding. Feeling the sensations, making it as enjoyable as it can be. We spend a lot of time in this sequence on our hands and wrists, so it's important to make sure that the hands and the wrists are stable and supported. Feeling, notice your spine creating a nice curve in the other direction. And again, tilt from the pelvis, round. Feeling the length of your spine, releasing unnecessary tension. And one more time, point the sit bones and tailbone back. Lengthen the torso from the navel forward, away from the tailbone and sit bones. And then when you are ready, you will round. And slowly start unwinding the spine. And bring your pelvis back. keep a nice roundedness in the spine as you go back. And then place the backs of the forearms on the floor and lift the backs of the hands away from the floor to lengthen at the back of your wrists. Then bring your arms all the way back and stay here for a few breaths. Feeling the sensations. Notice the expansion of your back as you inhale. And gradually transition to hands and knees again. Remember, grip the mat with your hands and squeeze the heels of the hands in. Slight bend at the elbows. Now we're going to do the same movement, rounding. But then we keep this rounded spine and we bring the torso back. Feel how this feels. You don't have to go all the way to sitting on your heels. And then when you go forward, go a little bit forward past your wrists. Go slowly, keeping this roundedness in your back. As you go back, you don't have to sit on your heels because it tends to flatten the lower back. And go forward. Press a little bit in with your elbows toward the rib cage. Notice the sensations. Come to center. Pause there for a moment. Now, take the right knee a few inches back, right hand, a handprint forward. Do the same rounding from the tailbone, the lower back, mid-back, upper back, chin toward the throat. Keep that roundedness with this asymmetrical base and bring your torso back. You're not trying to sit on your heels, you're just trying to notice how this feels on your torso, on your back, by the action of the asymmetrical pelvic and shoulder girdle acting on the rounded spine. Coming forward a little bit and then going back when you're ready. Try this a few times. You keep pressing down with your armpits to release tension from the upper shoulders. Feeling the sensations. Observing what happens. Notice how each time there may be a slight difference in sensations. Then at this point, realign your hands and knees. Now take the left hand a handprint forward and the left knee a few inches back. Round from the tailbone, the pelvis, lower back, mid-back, upper back, chin toward the throat. Bring your rounded torso back. Keep the roundedness. And return forward and go between these two positions a few times. For some of us, doing this on the two different sides with this asymmetry shows us that one side feels tighter, longer, more flexible, more restricted. So this is what we're trying to explore. Return to neutral. Realign hands and knees. Now, we'll try to bring left knee back, right hand, a handprint forward. We do the rounding, so now there is this contralateral asymmetry. And you try to notice how to keep this roundedness as you go back and forward. So this is one way to use the shoulder girdle to help realign the spine. Sometimes people feel that some of these movements also help to release tension in the shoulders and in the hips. Notice how this feels for you. Stay with your natural breath. Find neutral. Realign hands and knees. And then bring the right knee back. Left hand a handprint forward. Round from the pelvis, spine, and then go forward and gradually back. Nothing is forced. Armpits pressed down, feeling. And for some of us really feel that one side feels completely different from the other. Just be curious about the sensations and make sure you're not forcing, nothing is strained, there is no struggle. You're breathing continuously. Of course, when you find that one side is really much tighter than the other, then you can do that side a few more times. Realign your hands. And now, with symmetrical hands and knees, round your spine from the base all the way to the top. And then go all the way back into child's pose. And going forward. Keep the roundedness as you do the movement symmetrically again. To feel the effects, notice if anything feels different. Remember that you might not go to sit bones touching your heels when you go back in order to keep that even roundedness in your spine. Come to neutral and bring your forearms down to the floor. Keep the backs of the hands away from the floor and back down to the floor a few times to release any tension that may have emerged in the wrists from the previous actions. Then gradually transition to lying down on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat. Notice the sensations. Easeful breath. Feeling your spine, your shoulders, your pelvis, the effects of the previous actions. And when you are ready, separate your feet a little bit wider. Open your elbows out to the sides at 90 degrees with the palms of the hands aligning with the top of your head, palms of the hands facing up. Start bringing your knees over to one side. Keep the back of the pelvis in contact with the floor. Notice how this feels. Maybe there is a slight grip behind the knees. And then allow the side of the pelvis that wants to lift up, allow it to lift as you bring the knees farther to the side. You don't have to bring the legs all the way to the floor. Instead, feel that your thigh, hip, rib cage are all lengthening on the side that feels like it is lengthening. Try to notice that congruency between the different body parts. Maybe rotate your head gently from one side to the other as you stay in this position. And notice how that feels for you. Always taking the practice as a way to better know yourself. Return your head to center. And gradually return your knees back to center. Notice for a moment the sensations here. And then bring your knees over to the other side. Keep the back of the pelvis in contact with the floor. Noticing the sensations, maybe a slight grip behind the knees as if you were gripping a pencil behind each one. Feeling. And then start bringing the knees a little bit farther to the side, allowing the side of the pelvis to lift away from the floor. And then really paying attention to the connection between thigh, hip, and the rib cage, waist and rib cage on the side that is lengthening. Maybe turning your head from one side to the other with no rush, just curious to feel the sensations in your body. Keep your breath steady, smooth, continuous. Turn your head to center. Feel this posture and start returning to center. From there, start coming into your version of Shavasana, corpse posture. Arms coming to the floor, a little bit away from the pelvis. Legs straightening to the floor, maybe the feet open out, away from center, toes point away. Remain in this position. Invite your body to feel completely at ease. Invite your mind to stay here, just observing without having to add a comment, without adding opinions. Notice that your face is relaxed, your jaw is relaxed. Remaining very relaxed, start making your inhalations and exhalations very gently longer. Feeling the sensations that go with each in-breath. Notice if your inhalations influence your body, your mind, your mood. Focus on your exhalations now and notice what parts of your body move as you exhale. How do you feel physically, mentally, emotionally when you exhale? Consider making your breath longer with this attitude as if you had the whole day for each in-breath and for each out-breath. Keep your breath smooth and effortless. Noticing mind, body, and emotions as you inhale and exhale. One more round of long and easeful breathing. And then allow your body to just breathe on its own. Perhaps observing with curiosity what is different when your body breathes on its own, when you compare that with you regulating your breath. Savor the effects of the practice. Namaste.